This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Y'all,
Just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Hello, you two.
Hey, hey.
Hi. It's Thursday, Friday's Eve. We're almost there, y'all. Hello, America. And welcome to DBL. Well, it was a fiery debate last night between the four candidates vying for the Republican presidential nomination. If you didn't see, we got a little recap for you. Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and Vivek Ramaswamy were on the stage. Nikki, who has been surging in the polls, took the brunt of the attacks from DeSantis and Ramaswamy, who brought up her ties to big corporations. Take a look at this.
Her donors, these Wall Street liberal donors, they make money in China. They are not going to let her be tough on China, and she will cave to the donors. She will not stand up for you.
First of all, he's mad because those Wall Street donors used to support him, and now they support me.
Nikki, I don't have a woman problem. You have a corruption problem. And I think that that's what people need to know. Nikki is corrupt. This is a woman who will send your kids to die so she can buy a bigger house.
Governor Haley, would you like to respond?
No, it's not worth my time to respond to him.
At whiteboard. Oh no! At
Very Jeopardy, Final Jeopardy of him.
Very. At one point, Chris Christie took it upon himself to defend Nikki. Take a look at this.
If you want to disagree on issues, that's fine. And Nikki and I disagree on some issues. But I'll tell you this, I've known her for 12 years, which is longer than he's even started to vote in the Republican primary. And while we disagree about some issues, what we don't disagree on is this is a smart, accomplished woman, and you should stop insulting her.
Okay, so interesting. Are the other candidates threatened by Nikki? And what do you think about Chris Christie? First, let's talk about Chris Christie defending Nikki Haley. Do you think that was necessary, Erica?
I think it was a good move.
Why?
Yeah, well, in the Bravo universe, it's called forming an alliance.
Oh.
Okay.
It's like Survivor.
Right. The primaries. It's like none of these people are necessary. Well, some of them may go away, but we're going to hear these names for some time, regardless of what the outcome is for the presidential election. So the idea of going for someone's purse strings is just a bad move all around. I mean, she really clapped back in the most appropriate way because she highlighted the fact that he didn't have an issue when he was receiving those funds. When you are looking at the money brings the power will bring the privilege, right?
I think Lil' Kim said that.
Yeah. Money brings power, power brings the privilege.
I'll give you a beat.
So yeah, I think that it was a smart move strategy-wise for Chris Christie to defend when the other ones were essentially saying that they're never going to accept that money by highlighting the fact that she has.
What do you think, Al? That's a really, really good point. What do you think about why they're all here? Why do you think about Chris Christie defending Trump? And what do you think about them, none of them really going after Trump except for Chris Christie? I mean, he really, let me just say, according to 538, Trump has 59.6% of the vote. DeSantis 12.7, Haley 10.6, Ramaswamy 4.9, and Christie is at 2.7.
Right. Well, you know, I always say if you start getting too big of a head, go to an audition.
Right.
Because you'll see different versions of yourself. You're like, that's me if I was 6'1", and that's me if I was 20 pounds lighter, if I was ripped. We're looking at 4 different versions of Trump. Ramaswamy is trying to be Trump. DeSantis is like, I'm Trump but smarter and can get things done. Chris Christie is the anti-Trump, and Nikki Haley is trying to represent the voters that are like, I used to like Trump, I don't like him anymore, but I still have these values and I like to see them represented. So going after Trump doesn't really prove any of them because, Erica, you know, they have to use his base. Without his base, what are we talking about?
Well, let me say this. Christie and DeSantis also sparred on President Trump, former President Trump, who once again skipped the whole debate. Christie was the only candidate, as I said, who attacked him while he pressed DeSantis on whether or not Trump was fit to run for office. Let's take a look and hear what your response is.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, he is unfit to be president, and there is no bigger issue in this race, Megyn, than Donald Trump, and those numbers prove it.
That over a 4-year period, it is not a job for somebody that's pushing 80. We need somebody that's younger. You have your thing.
Is he fit or isn't he? No, I don't have my thing. He's the thing. Is he fit or isn't he? You're talking about him being 80 years old.
It doesn't mean that somebody couldn't get elected. That's
Okay, from what you heard from that, what do we think about Trump's presence being there, even though he wasn't?
I think I'm hearing that Chris Christie misses calling as a moderator. Like he's not. That's not up for him. The moderator should be saying, "Please answer the question." But you know, I guarantee you, Ron DeSantis' people were saying right before he walked on that stage, "You better not answer that question." Because if he says he's unfit, even though in the moment it'll appear that he stands strong, his voters, that base that's dwindling, if not gone already, will be gone. And the idea of even maybe him losing his governorship the next time he runs, should he decide to run, would be in jeopardy. So I think there's a weird, we've never had really an element like this, Kabi, where there's this presence of Donald Trump looming. But there's also a decent chance that because of the 4 indictments he has, you know, all over the country, that one of those might prevent him from running. So you have to position yourself to take those donors, to take those voters, but also make sure that you don't offend, but also appear strong and also appear like you're ready.
Yeah, which makes you look weak.
Yeah, I feel like
mean,
all of
it's
that is just like nothing.
You have to pick a side. At least Chris Christie is saying that we understand that he's the anti-Trump. But DeSantis has been clowned. Christie's been clowned. Nikki Haley's been clowned by Trump. So at the end of the day, when you're kind of like going back and forth, a lot of the supporters of Trump may not even show up at all if he's not the presidential candidate, because that's something Trump wouldn't have done. Right. Trump would have been very staunch in his position. He wouldn't have. He would have. There would have been no wavering. Right. Like it's very much, it's old school. It's very like old school New York. Like, I don't mess with you. You cross me, I don't mess with you. And they're like, well, maybe I'll mess with him. Well, maybe not. Well, is it appropriate? Or maybe it's not. It's like, y'all got to pick a lane.
I know. Somebody figure this out, which I think is interesting. I also wanted to get into a little bit. I think Chris Christie's kind of looking or vying, my theory, for a job at ABC or a commentary job. He's making real good zingers. He knows he really is so far below. I think he's looking for a media job at the end of this. And he did a nice job, I thought, of positioning himself that way. But I did want to get to this. Ramaswamy talking about how January 6th was an inside job, likely, and that climate change agenda is a hoax. What do we think about these people who have outlier type of positions trying to get the outlier position into the mainstream? As crazy as that is.
It's another strategy. You know, whether people think it's crazy or not, there's a reason why he's saying these things, because people believe it and they want to hear it at that level. Yeah. So it's really just about, just like we say with Trump, how for everything that people can say about the man, he was able to resonate with people because he identified people who felt like they had not been seen before. Yeah. Anytime you're in a position to do that and amplify voices that consider themselves silenced or shunned, you are going to get some type of support from that.
Unwavering support.
Unwavering
exactly
support.
Right.
Moving on to something a little more light, literally, no pun intended. Tonight is the beginning of Hanukkah, and traditionally Jews gather with family and friends, and they light one candle in the menorah over 8 nights. This year, it's a little bit different for some Jewish people, including myself, given the conflict between Israel and Hamas. And some families say that they are afraid to display the menorahs in their windows at home for fear of being targeted.
Is this something you felt?
Yes. Now, my friend Adam Kolbersh, who is actually my acting coach, spoke to his son and said, we can't put up menorahs this year because I'm afraid of being targeted. And he started what I want to reach out to everyone. It's called Project Menorah. And you can go to projectmenorah.com and you literally print out a menorah. This is for my non-Jewish friends. This is for my allies. This is when we need you. This is on the line. You can print out a menorah and you can proudly put it in your window, which many people have always seen. A candle in the window for Shabbat or Hanukkah is a tradition that go back centuries. Do it. Tell us that you support us. It would mean the world to us in a time in which we feel a little bit targeted. ProjectMenorah.com. All instructions are there. Coming up on DBL, a woman who threw food at a Chipotle employee gets sentenced to work a fast food job. Is this a fair punishment? And a man's search for his half-siblings goes viral after devastating family secrets come to light. He's telling us his story that's filled with a lot of twists and turns. That's coming up next. All right, guys. What's that? I didn't hear one thing you said.
The 3 minutes she said. For
Oh,
the next
I
spot.
only hear static on my thing. So sorry.
Oh, please. I was going to say, I'm not stepping on the story we're doing that we have coming up next about Chipotle, but I am shocked it's Chipotle, just because I thought that one of the great things about that business model, the Subway kind of build your own, is that you don't have a lot of, hey, you forgot to put this on my fries. You forgot to add this onto my burger. Because you're saying, I want the black beans, and you look at them scoop it on there, so it's hard to miss the order.
But I've seen people get so frustrated at Chipotle's. I mean, you see people get frustrated everywhere, but then it becomes,
You're not giving me enough.
I want light beans. That's too many beans. I want extra this. Well, no, that's not enough. So by the time you get to the end, there's like this animosity about the idea that this particular person didn't make your order like the person who did last week. Listen, if you're in the service industry, period, bless you, especially during this time of the year, because everybody wants to take all of their frustrations out on you as if you being the person behind the counter makes you their servant in some sort of way.
That's how
You're
they view
doing
it.
a job. Like some people, it's such a power play that I'm like, you must not have any control over your life to be coming in somewhere and treating somebody like that.
Do you remember that story we did a year ago about that financial guy that threw those shakes at those Jamba Juice employees? They were like 15-year-old girls. Remember they messed his order up and he threw both of them and he lost his job. This might have even been during kind of COVID era. But there is a thing where you can abuse these employees.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to DBL. I can't wait to get everyone's take on this. A woman was sentenced to the ultimate payback after hitting a Chipotle employee in the face with the burrito bowl. Guac was not included. I'm not making fun. It's not right. In the viral video, dang, you can see she throws the hot food at the employee before stomping out of the restaurant like the Karen she is. She claims she did it because the food just looked, quote, disgusting. The judge offered her 60 days jail credit if she agreed to work at a fast food restaurant as part of her sentence. He said he hopes this will teach her a sense of empathy.
Or she can throw it at the customers now.
That's also a plan.
Yeah.
The judge, I just want to say, Timothy Gilligan, this is in Ohio.
Calves.
Thank you. Said he didn't want to waste taxpayers' money by putting her in jail, so he asked 2 months in a fast food restaurant would equal time served.
I don't like it.
No.
I don't like it.
Oh, I thought you guys would like this.
No.
Oh, okay,
No.
what? Ohio, what happened?
I'll just say this, Cobb, and I'll give you the floor. It's insulting to say that rather than go to jail, we'll let them do your menial job and that'll teach them. That's super gross. It's very gross. I would hire a fast food employee in a millisecond. When you see all the cars at 2 o'clock in the morning, you think all those people are pleasant. You think half of them aren't half in the bag, and yet they're handling car after car. They're getting food ready. They're getting it out. It's efficient.
But what for an eye for an eye?
They do more than anybody else.
But what about an eye? I'm just pushing back. Eye for an eye. Tell me.
No, first of all, that's not an eye for an eye because you're saying that the punishment is actually working at a fast food.
Your life is the punishment.
Right.
Like, so I agree with Al on that. Also, the food looked disgusting. I would assume she would know what disgusting looks like because she has to look in the mirror every morning.
Yeah.
It feels like, it really feels like the idea of avoiding jail time or that punishment and working in a fast food restaurant only further traumatizes people who have to go into said fast food restaurant. You don't think that she's not going to have some feelings? The idea that she thought that she was superior to that worker in that moment tells me exactly what she's going to do to the fast food for people coming in. Like, you're going to trust someone like that? That's their punishment to work there?
Yes.
And we're supposed to, like, the public is supposed to go and eat there?
Do you want somebody that's being punished making your food?
I also
exactly.
Right. I see
exactly.
that. I also kind of, now that I see it from a different different point of view, and what you guys are saying is that was fully assault. That's hot food.
Absolutely.
And she threw that hard
What if
at
it was
someone's
coffee?
face. Yeah, exactly. Whatever. I'm just saying, now I see that, I would think jail time is more appropriate than saying go work at some job.
Jeff says it all the time. Set a precedent.
Yeah.
And stop with these cutesy sentences.
Interesting. Let us know what you think. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. Imagine finding out that you have an entire family you never knew existed. For Ed Choi, it was a discovery that led to a life-changing journey. Earlier, we spoke with him all about it. Take a look.
Growing up, Ed Choi never knew who his dad was.
I kind of feel like my mom was there. She always had this thing she used to tell me when I was younger, and it used to be, as a boy, you need a father figure, so I'm your father figure first.
But one day, when Ed was 13, a secret was revealed to him, and it's something he's now sharing with the world.
I found out that my mom and dad were never married, and my mom did not lose the suitcase that had all the photos of her wedding and my dad in it, because I grew up to this point thinking that I never saw my dad because my mom lost all the photos, and I had no idea who my dad was.
1 week later, Ed flew to Korea with his mom to meet his dad for the first time.
We met with my dad at a hotel there. I remember he mostly didn't talk to me. He told me like his jacket is probably more expensive than like all the clothes that I own, my whole wardrobe. He did tell me about my family's company. I looked it up and saw that they were like a big conglomerate company. And then the next day we were supposed to meet again. And my mom finally tells me, she's like, your dad can't make it because he has a really important business golf meeting, which ended up being a lie. And that actually was very heavy for me for a really long time, because I was like, wow, I'm less important than a golf game.
Unfortunately, Ed's dad died before they ever met again, but the secrets didn't. To tell us more, please welcome to DBL, Ed Choi. Wow.
Thank you, Ed, for being here. So this is a huge secret that your mom hid. So why did she do this?
To answer your question, I think it mostly has to just do with the way she was brought up in the Korean culture. Even today, being a single mother isn't something that's really easy to do in Korea. So I think she was, one, very conscious of that, and then two, very conscious of what I didn't have, I think she went about it the wrong way, but knowing that I didn't have a father was something she was very aware of, and I think she had good intentions to try to overcompensate for it, just not the best way.
Ed, you went to your dad's funeral, but you were not welcomed with open arms, so tell us what happened.
Yeah, so when I went, my mom stayed outside. She walked me up until the front door. So in Korea, the majority of funerals take place, and most of them are Buddhist funerals. You know, there's no body. It's just a photo with some incense and a member of the family that you greet and talk to. But the thing was, no one knew who I was. And in fact, I was hysterically crying because I'm very sensitive. And on the way out, I just, saw a guest book that I decided to sign my name really big because when I realized that they didn't know who I was, I think part of me kind of was like, well, I'm going to tell you who I am.
So, Ed, what's the most important thing you've learned from this process, and what would you recommend? Because now with 23andMe, people are finding so many siblings and relatives. Is knowing what you know now, is ignorance bliss in this situation, or would you still rather know?
I think I would rather know. The one thing I really learned throughout this journey is that I used to carry around this baggage thinking that it was because I wasn't good enough. And between the supportive messages from complete strangers and just doing a lot of self-digging and analyzing and guidance, I think I've come to realize that it's not about me and it's about them. And although I want to find them and I want to do the best that I can to look out to find them and learn about them for me, their choice is their own. It has nothing to do with me, but their own lived experience. So the one advice I would say is if you are in a somewhat similar boat or you want to find your family, go for it. Because the one thing that I know is I don't want to be on my deathbed wondering what I should have done. I'd rather do everything that I could have done knowing that I did everything I could and the rest was out of my control.
DBL Nation, please follow Ed on TikTok at Etch-a-Sketch, spelled like you see on the screen, not like the toy. Thanks again, Ed, and I honestly wish you all the best in this journey. Amazing.
Thank you.
We'll be right
Thank
back.
you.
Welcome back. We've got some great products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out. All right, Steph, what do you have for us today?
Hey, Tori. Hello, DBL Nation. I am so excited to show you all of our deals today. As ever, they're fabulous. The holiday's around the corner.
Yes.
So let's go shopping.
Yeah.
And check this out. It's the Brilliant Diamonds 1/10 carat TW Diamond Halo Stud earring.
Hello.
This doorbuster deal includes one pair of gorgeous earrings in a gift box. And you will not get this low price anywhere else. But doorbuster deals, they are very popular. So in order for everyone to be able to get these earrings, we've got a limit. 3 per customer. Normally, this is $149. We've got a pair of diamond earrings for $20.
Excuse me?
$20. That's saving 87%. Next up, we've got the Crabtree and Evelyn 5-piece hand cream set.
Lovely.
This deal includes 5 hand creams that provide pocket-sized pampering without that greasy feeling. So normally this is $50.
Okay.
But we've got a 5-piece set for just $10. That's saving 80%. Next up, we have got the Philips Sonicare Diamond Clean Rechargeable Toothbrush with an app.
Whoa.
So this still includes 1 toothbrush, 1 travel case, and 1 glass charger, and 1 charger base.
Nice.
So normally these are $270, but we've got it for just $79.99.
Nice.
That's saving 70%. Now check out this, Tori. We all love a bouncy blowout. This is the way to do it with the Cortex Beauty Infrared Professional Blowout Brush.
Cute.
So this deal includes 1 blowout brush. So normally it's $260.
Never mind. Never mind.
We've got it for $34. That's saving 87%.
Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or you can even scan the QR code on screen. It will take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Thank you so much, Steph. All right, we love sharing your comments from the food thrower, Burrito Karen, I'll call her. Janice wrote she should be cleaning the jail cafeteria.
There you go.
Janice.
I like that, yeah.
That's a good punishment.
Yes.
Do you guys like creative punishments in general, or just put them in jail?
I think it depends on the situation and the crime.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we imprison so many people in this country. I think the most in the world. I think it is time to be creative, but not for that.
Not for that. Burrito Karen, you're out. We'll see you at the same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.